Stuttgart. Stuttgart, porn movie theater opposite the train station. So different as in Ludwigsburg. Dirty, disgusting, no nice hall, no atmosphere. I'm like Travis when I walk through the city at night, cannot sleep, find no calm, thoughts do not let me go. Only that I see no angel, no one that I have to rescue, have no commission, no mission, I have nothing, find no one mill around aimlessly. Sit in a porn movie theater, consider the time that elapses, consider the audience, wonder why they are here, do not even know why I'm here, not even what I want, why I am. Ludwigsburg. When I got up in the morning and looked out the window, I could see down on the street the staff, shop assistants of an apparel store, as they waited to be let in to begin their work. Among them was a young saleswoman who attracted attention therefore that she often wore a turquoise dress, the same stockings and shoes. It seemed to please her, me anyway, whereby to please maybe the wrong word is. She was somehow something special, immediately to recognize amongst the others when she wore these clothes. She made me curious, fascinated me in a peculiar way. Whenever she wore this, I remained at the window until she went with the other employees into the shop. Only now, when I write this, I realize in amazement that I never went into the store, never tried to see her from up close, to stand face to face, or even to address her, what actually should not have been difficult, would I only have had to make an inquiry about something trivial. Apparently it was enough for me to see her from time to time from my window in these clothes. Bad Friedrichshall. Preferably we spend our time at the river, more precisely at a weir and a shallow section of the river behind. The weir was not in good condition at that time. Deep holes had formed in which, if the water did not float, real small ponds formed, in them a lot of fish. And the problem for those was that the water often not flowed for days, especially in summer, when anyway was little water there, and the miller, it gave and gives today the mill which is operated with water from the river, took plenty of water for himself away. Thus the ponds dried out more and more, and the fish becoming increasingly scarce of oxygen. They would grow miserable. But my friend and I saved the fish again and again by catching them and releasing them in the deep water over the weir. Such rescue missions could occupy hours. Later the weir has been repaired. A concrete mixer came and the holes were filled with concrete. The fish that were still in them found not a nice end. Stuttgart. When I began to discover you, I also found the Leonhardplatz and the Leonhardstraße, the nightclubs. I walked down the street. Women waited at the doors, talked to the men on the street, to Thai women. I went on quickly, did not dare. Uppermost was an obviously small club. 2 young women at the door. One talks to me, I go with. We sit at the table. I don't know how to behave. Did we already order something? I cannot remember. See the private rooms, she asks me, half or whole? I have no idea what she's talking about. Half? We sit in the private room. A small bottle of sparkling wine is in the cooler. Incredibly expensive. She tries to talk with me. What shall I say? She has introduced herself as Susie, or I have the name wrong in memory. She has an off-the-shoulder top on. I touch her bosom. She's not appalled, but means that the whole would becomes her be a bit too hot. Later we are back at the table, say nothing quite a lot. I ask if she works regularly here. Some when I go. Next week I go again. Susie is not there. Another young woman asks if she is allowed to sit down. I pernod. She, may I a piccolo? Both again incredibly expensive. She's different from Susie, puts her hand on my knee, asks if we go to the private room. She would probably have no problem with that, to let herself grab by me. At least it seems so to me, but I become more and more nervous, insecure. Leave. Heilbronn. Heilbronn and America. No simple relationship. Waldheide, Pershing, nuclear warheads. There were many demonstrations, I was at none. An accident with dead soldiers, and always no clear statements of what actually was on the Waldheide. Happened, occurred. So I also was not necessarily excited about the United States. Walt Disney, Hollywood and Coca-Cola did the rest. And even there was my American cinema, then it were directors who grappled critically with the topic USA, not preconceiving that they were thereby also a part of the American culture. But one time it still might have been that I actually were come together with the American culture. The German-American Fun Fair in Heilbronn, which took place once a year, on the grounds of the large barracks in the city. I remember burgers and hot dogs, that it tasted good, and the atmosphere was very lively. It's weird, because I made nothing of fun fairs till today, and I have also no memories of early visits of the Talmarkt or the Theresienwiese, both important annual events in the region. But the German-American Fun Fair has remained as impression unreal alive. Today I wonder what would have been, would I have found a connection to American culture back then. Today I stand at the boundary, watch the football and baseball players, and of course the cheerleaders. At this time, these sports have high priority in Heilbronn. Some teams played in high leagues. After the withdrawal of the soldiers, all came to a stillstand, until some interested people began their work again, and today there are teams which play in different leagues. And I have great pleasure to watch them, burgers and hot dogs to eat by these so American games, especially for hours at baseball. Of course, it would have been very difficult for me to get into the city. Then the barracks were situated very inconvenient. But I think that if you were interested, you could watch indeed when the soldiers playing football or baseball. Maybe you could even take part in somewhat. Sure, you could have learned about something from the people. A strange idea from one who does not even dare to enter a cafe. But I have the feeling that I would have dared this. Stuttgart. Just above the Leonhardstraße, the streetwalker's patch. I walk past the prostitutes. One speaks to me. Not I have to start the conversation. Asks me if I want. Asks if I want two women. I deny. Do not know what I with one. Go along to her room, pay for a little more twice, more time. She gets undressed, midsummer. The window is open, no curtain, privacy. She says that I shall get undressed. I'm terribly nervous. Lie down on the bed. Has problems with the condom. Takes it into the mouth. It will not stand. Sweating. Confused, she lies down, I on her. Is it in? Yes. Takes the hand, nothing goes, confused. From behind, to look yes, to fuck no, kneels down, bends down, pretends she would masturbate, wants to make me horny. I feel the whole, not a bit erotic. I would like to embrace her, to feel her body, to touch her, be touched by her, to lie with her, to be tender, tenderness to receive, whereby I confess that she was very tender somehow. I was completely over-challenged by the situation, as well as when I should approach someone. Not even this. Thank you for listening.